by.
Loading. Loading complete.
30,
29, 28,
27,
26, 25, 24,
20,
22,
21, 20, 19, 18,
17,
16, 15, 14, 13,
12,
11, 10,
9, 8, 7, 6, 5,
4,
2,
1. Now for what you've all been waiting for.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
Good morning, good day, good evening, good night, good whatever it happens to be where you are, and hello to everyone who watches this in the future. I'm just hoping I stay online here. I was having a little electrical problems just before the show started. I don't see anybody in the chat yet, so I guess we'll just get to the song. Every morning, every evening, ain't we got fun? Not much money, oh, but honey, ain't we got fun? The rent's unpaid, dear, we haven't a buzz. The smiles were made, dear, for people like us. In the winter, in the summer, don't we have fun? Times are bumming, getting bummer, still we have fun. There's nothing sure, the rich get rich and the poor get poor. In the meantime, in between time, ain't we got fun? Tax collectors getting closer, still we have fun. Twins and cares, dear, come in pairs, dear, don't we have fun? We've only started, no, we're not downhearted. When I'm laid off, I'll be paid off, ain't we got fun? Life is madden, getting madder, ain't we got fun? Times are bad and getting badder, still we have fun. There's nothing sure, the rich get rich and the poor get poor. In the meantime, in between time, ain't we got fun? Hope I can hold up out for singing today. Just having a few, felt like a small asthma attack before the show as well. I took an inhaler, so I should be good. Alright. So we've got birthdays galore today need to deal with. One from earlier in the week, and two actually taking place today. So let's go on to the wheel of songs. Love you truly. It's a kind of a short one. I love you truly, truly, dear. Life with its sorrow, life with its tear. Fade into dreams when I feel you near. For I love you truly, truly, dear. I love, 'tis something to feel your kind hand. Ah, yes, 'tis something by your side to stand. Gone is the sorrow, gone doubt and fear, for you love me truly, truly, dear. All right. Oh, there's somebody. My Unfinished Journey. Hello. Glad to have you here. So, might as well get one more song in while we're waiting for people to file in here. See what else we got. Henry VIII this time. Kept dodging that one last week. I'm Henriette, I'm Henriette, I got married to the witch next door. She's been married 7 times before, and all of them am Henry, she would never will her son. No son, I'm a earth old man, Henriette, second verse, same as the first. I'm Henriette, I got married to the witch next door. She's been married 7 times before, and all of them am Henry, she would never will her son. No son. I'm Earth Old Man, Henriette I am. Oh, I'm Henriette I am, Henriette I am. I got married to a woman next door. She's been married 7 times before, and all of them. And Henry, she would never will her a son. No son. I'm Earth Old Man, Henriette I am. Henry, Henriette I am, Henriette I am. Yeah. A fun but repetitive song. Yeah. I guess we'll get into a little bit of news here. We start things off before we get into the bigger stuff. So, on news here, we have. Excuse me. The Last of Us actor Bella Ramsey wants to play the next Spider Man. I'm thinking no. The Last of Us star Bella Ramsey has put himself forward to be the next Spider-Man. The Marvel superhero who is due to return to the big screen in next year's Spider-Man in Brand New Day. Well, I'm actually kind of surprised they didn't name it Brand New Home, considering the whole home theme they had going with it. With Tom Holland back in the role for for his fourth standalone film. Ramsey was recently asked by Variety whether the Last of Us co-star Pedro Pascal, who is starring in the latest Marvel film, The Fantastic Four: First Steps, had spoken to them about appearing in a superhero film. I don't know about that. That they responded before pitching. I could be Spider-Man. Tom Holland did a great job though. So maybe they do need to make a new superhero for me. Yeah, going with a new character would probably be the best choice instead of trying to take over the role of Spider-Man. I'd have to agree with that. Ramsey added that he recently watched Andrew Garfield's take on the character, further sharing, "It was the first time I watched a Marvel film, and that was 3 months ago, that I'd ever seen a Marvel film. And it was Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man. Not the worst one to start with, I guess, but not really the best." Stiller called it incredible and said that they loved it. Well, at least enjoyed it. Filming has begun on Brand New Day, which will also see the return of Zendaya as MJ, Jacob Batalon as Ned Leeds, and Michael Lamando, who is Scorpion. Oh, got Scorpion in this one. While fellow MCU stars Mark Ruffalo, Charlie Cox, and I forgot crap in my throat here, and John and Berthal will appear as the Hulk, Daredevil, and the Punisher, respectively. The Stranger Things Sadie Sink and the Bears Liza Cullen and Zayas has also been cast. Another Spider-Man news: animated sequel Spider-Man and Beyond the Spider-Verse recently he had its 2027 release date he pushed back again, but only by a few weeks, which comes after numerous delays. Meanwhile, Ramsey he revealed earlier this year that they used online game club Penguin to explore their gender identity. Well, okay. I'm glad you got into that. My penguin was called Tomboy Bella and was red. Okay. I did karate on the freaking karate hill. I was loving in life in Club Penguin in World. They told them magazine, and you can be whoever you want behind that avatar. Well, yeah, it's usually how it works with avatars. Well, yeah. Yeah, hang on. Let me see if I can do something about this crud in my throat. Okay, sorry about that. Well, let's try another song here. See if I got it all out. Looks like we. When April showers may come your way, they bring the flowers that bloom in May. So when it's raining, have no regrets. 'Cause it isn't raining rain, you know it's raining violets. And when you see clouds up on a hill, you know that there'll be crowds of daffodils. So just keep looking for a bluebird and listening for his song whenever April showers come along. And when you see clouds up on a hill, you know that there'll be crowds of daffodils. So just keep looking for a bluebird and listening for his song whenever April showers come along. Yeah, felt a little bit better that one. All right. Yeah, still a little bit of crud in my throat, damn it. Okay. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, this is a fun one. I gotta put up the image first here. Blow this up a little bit. I wanted to read a different. Here we are. Okay. Fake Justin Bieber fools Las Vegas nightclub. Performer performs on stage and racks up $10,000 bar tab. And this is the image we see here is the fake Justin Bieber on the left here with the real thing being on the right. And I did listen to the video of him sing the fake one singing, and it's actually better than real thing. In an unusual incident of celebrity mimicry, 29-year-old Dylan Desalos from Normandy, France, recently he tricked audiences at the XS nightclub in Las Vegas into thinking that he was Justin Bieber. The stunt, which took place on August 16th in 2025, rapidly went viral, drawing international attention and igniting conversations about the impact of celebrity lookalikes. The nightclub prank, the Salos, who was a remarkable resemblance to Bieber. I don't know. I I suppose from certain angles, yeah. Entered the nightclub with the help of a small team in pretending to be Bieber's manager. The act was so convincing that DJ Griffin, performing that evening, welcomed the solo into the DJ booth, considering he was the real Justin Bieber. Apart from the music and dim lights, the solo slip synced into Bieber's hit "Sorry," performing convincingly and entertaining the crowd, who were completely unaware that they were witnessing an impersonator. Adding to the illusion, the seller was reportedly racked up nearly 10,000 in bar charges. It was then only the nightclub staff noticed inconsistencies in his behavior and credentials, revealing the truth. The venue promptly removed the Solos and issued a lifetime ban. While TJ Griffin, in humor, labeled the incident Biebergate on social media, emphasizing the elaborate nature of the prank. The man behind the mask, Dylan DeSallo, has been impersonating Justin Bieber for several years. He has recently received significant attention on social media platforms, mainly TikTok, for his uncanny resemblance to the Canadian pop star and his precise imitation of Bieber's mannerisms and style. DeSallo has staged multiple public appearances and world tours, acting as Bieber and performing in ways that his prank both fans and celebrities alike. Notably, Hailey Bieber reacted to a video of DeSalos, admitting she was scared by how closely he resembled her husband. Huh, I didn't know Justin Bieber got married. Then again, I don't really follow Justin Bieber. While his impersonations have won his admiration in online, the recent Las Vegas stunt has sparked debates about the ethics of celebrity mimicry and the duties of event organizers in confirming the identities of performers. Some argue that such pranks are fun and entertaining, while others raise concerns that potential legal and reputational risks involved. Following the stunt, DeSallo has deactivated his Instagram account, likely to avoid further scrutiny in online backlash. Justin Bieber has not publicly addressed the incident, leaving fans and media to speculate about his reaction on the matter. The event has initiated discussions about how celebrity culture and the desire to emulate famous personalities can influence behavior, mainly, mainly in an era dominated by social media. And the article I was reading was from the Economic Times, by the way. Crazy story. So let's get into another song here. Get things on rolling on the way here. What we got next? You must have been a beautiful baby. Alright, that's a good one to do. You must have been a beautiful baby. You must have been a wonderful child when you were only starting to go to kindergarten. I bet you drove the little boys wild. And when it came to winning blue ribbons, you must have shown the other kids how. I can see the judge's eyes as they handed you the prize. I bet you made the cutest bow. Oh, you must have been a beautiful baby, 'cause baby, look at you now. Does your mother realize the stork delivered quite a prize the day he left you on the family tree? Does your dad appreciate that you're merely super great? The miracle of any century. If they don't, just send them both to me. Oh, you must have been a beautiful baby. You must have been a wonderful child. When you were only starting to go to kindergarten, you must have drove the little boys wild. And when it came to winning blue ribbons, you must have shown the little kids how. I can see the judge's eyes as they handed you the prize. You must have made the cutest bow. Oh, you must have been a beautiful baby, 'cause baby, look at you now. Well, before we get into the real meat of this show, we'll need to travel to Planet Houston and kneel before Zod as we honor the late, great Terrence Stamp. Terrence Stamp, British actor who portrayed General Zod in earlier Superman films, died at 87. London AP. Terrence Stamp, the British actor who often played the role of a complex villain, including that of General Zod in earlier Superman films, has died. He was 87. Well, I'm glad they repeated that. His death on Sunday was disclosed in a death notice published online, prompting a wave of tributes from and an array of fans and those close to him and within the industry. including the British Academy of Film and Television Arts, or BAFTA. The London the London-born Stamp started his film career with 1962's Seafaring Billy Budd, for which he earned an Oscar and BAFTA award nominations. His 6 decades in the business were peppered with highlights, including his touching portrayal of the transsexual Brenda Bernadetta in 1994's The Adventure of Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, the second of his 2 BAFTA nominations. Bernadetta, that's what I think that's how I pronounce it. Stumbling over that name for some reason. But it will be his portrayal of the bearded Zod in 1978's Superman and its sequel, Superman 2. 2 years later, that most people associate. 2 years later, the most people will associate with Stamp as the Kryptonian arch enemy to Christopher Reeve's Man of Steel. Stamp introduced a darker, charming, and vulnerable, more human element to the franchise. One that's been replicated in countless superhero movies ever since. Edgar Wright, who directed Stamp in his final feature film, 2021's Last Night in Soho, remembered the actor in his Instagram post as kind, funny, endlessly fascinating. The closer the camera moved, the more hypnotic his presence became. In close-up, his unblinking gaze looked in so powerfully that the effect was extraordinary. Terrence was a true movie star. The camera loved him, and he loved it right back, Nick Wright said. Bill Duke, who starred with Stamp, and director Steve Soderbergh's 1999 crime drama, The Limey, he said he was deeply saddened to hear of his death. He brought a rare intensity to the screen, but off screen he carried himself with warmth, grace, and generosity. He said on Facebook. Stamp started his acting career on stage in the late 1950s, where he acted repertory theater and met Michael Caine, who was 5 years older than himself. The pair lived together in a flat in central London while looking for their big break. He got his break with Billy Budd, and Stamp embarked on a career that would see him in the early 1960s be part of the angry young men movement, and that was introducing an element of social realism to the British movie making. That it was perhaps most notably in the 19 damn it 19 hold on in the 1965 adaptation of John Fowler's creepy debut novel, The Collector, where he played the awkward and lonely Freddie Clegg, who has kidnapped Samantha Egger's Miranda Gray in a warped attempt to win her love. It was a performance that it would earn the young Stamp, fresh off his Oscar nomination, and the Best Actor award at the year's Cannes Film Festival. While part of that 1960s British movement, Stamp learned from some of the most seasoned actors from the classic era, including Laurence Olivier. I worked with Olivier briefly on my second movie, 1962, Term of Trial. Will Stamp recalled in an interview with the AP in 2013. He said to me, "You should always steady your voice." Stamp and then segued into a spot-on Olivier impersonation, and continuing because as you get older, your looks go, but your voice will become empowered. His career took a bit of hiatus from the late 1960s after he missed out on the role of James Bond to replay Sean Connery. That included a year-long stint in India, in which saw him embrace a more holistic approach to his life. It was the unexpected role of General Zod that brought him back to the limelight. He played John Tunstall in 1988's Young Guns, the Galactic Republic leader in 1999 Star Wars prequel, The Phantom Menace. Appeared in comedies Yes Men and Get Smart in 2008, and delivered her voice performances in the video games Halo 3 and The Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion. Born in London, in East End, in July 22nd, 1938, Stamp lived a colorful life, particularly during in the 1960s, when he had a string of romances, including with actress Julie Christie and model Jean Shrimpton. He married 29-year-old Elizabeth O'Rourke in 2002 at the age of 64. The couple divorced 6 years later. Stamp did not have any children. Stamp retained his looks as the years ticked by. His natural handsomeness is hardened by a more grizzled look. He generally sought to keep his standards high to a point. I don't do crappy movies unless I haven't got out the rent, he said. I'm glad they ended that with a little bit of humor. But I'm thinking Danny Boy would be appropriate for him. Oh, Danny Boy, the pipes are calling from glen to glen and down the mountainside. The summer's gone and all the roses falling. It's you must go, and I must bide. But come ye back when summer's in the meadow, or when the valley's hushed with snow. 'Tis I'll be here in sunshine or in shadow. Oh, Danny boy, I love you so. But when ye come and all the flowers are dying, if I am dead, as dead I well may be, ye will come and find the place where I am lying, and kneel and say an Ave there for me. And I shall hear through soft ye tread above me, and all my grave will warmer, sweeter be. For you will bend and tell me that you love me, and I shall sleep in peace until you come to me and kneel before me. I don't know, you can't throw that in. But so we got the sad news out of the way and the weird news. Let's get into some birthdays, shall we? So today is not only Day of the Grid's birthday, but also here it is a friend of mine, Ember's birthday. So, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Theta and Ember. Happy birthday to you. And with that, I have a couple of links here to help out. So that is Theta of the Grid's PayPal, and Ember has a GoFundMe because they had some issues and ended up doing some medical bills, and they could use some help with the medical bills. And this GoFundMe is strictly for their medical bills, and it helps if I cut down the links. Let's see here. I gotta cut the link down a little bit so I can actually fit it. Okay, that will work. All right, there we are. Okay, so that's the GoFundMe for Ember and a PayPal for Theta. So if you'd like to send them any birthday presents, that'd be a good way of doing it. All right. But there was another birthday earlier in this week. And that birthday, or at least it would have been their birthday, goes to Gene Roddenberry. Gene Roddenberry, the visionary creator of Star Trek, was born on August 19th, 1921, in his parents' rental home in El Paso, Texas. Which, incidentally, El Paso, Texas, is where happens to be where where I was born, and spent his childhood in the city of Los Angeles. This past Tuesday, he would have marked his 104th birthday. At Los Angeles City College, he majored in police science, but also studied aeronautics and earned the pilot's license through the Army Air Corps civilian pilot training program. When World War II broke out, he joined the U.S. Army Air Corps on December 18th, 1941, flying the B-17 bomber with the 5th Bombardment Group out of Bellows Field and Oahu. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly. His experience is as a pilot and his exposure to pulp science magazines like Astounding Science Fiction fueled his fascination with human potential and the unknown, a foundation that later shaped Star Trek. Roddenberry's vision took shape in the 1960s. He pitched a series that would become Star Trek to producers Oscar Katz and Herb Solo as a wagon train to the stars. A phrase often attributed to him, but actually coined by his acquaintance and writer Samuel A. Peoples. Shortly before the pitch, Roddenberry described it as a wagon train concept, blending the frontier spirit of westerns with the boundless possibility of space. Star Trek became a show about the exploration of humanity, diversity, and tackling social issues. It was Roddenberry's platform to explore humanity's future, from racial inequality to the ethics of war, all through the lens of sci-fi allegory. And I actually had actually, before I finish this up, I gotta get the screen up here. I almost forgot about my visuals for this. There we are. Where was I? The Man Trap was the first to air on September 8th, 1966, introducing audiences to the Enterprise and its crew. Interestingly, the second pilot, Where No Man Has Gone Before, aired as the third episode on September 22nd, 1966, which was the one that had convinced NBC to greenlight the series. The first pilot, The Cage, that failed to get the series greenlit, wouldn't be seen until October 4th, 1988. Clips from the first pilot were used in Menagerie, which aired as a two-parter on November 17th, 1966, November 24th, respectively. In a memo about script revisions, the Star Trek episode, What Are Little Girls Made Of? Roddenberry jokingly wrote to Justman, May the great bird of the galaxy never fly over your pool table. From this, associate producer Robert H. Justman ended up nicknaming Roddenberry the Great Bird of the Galaxy. Nods to this nickname would appear in several episodes of Star Trek. In The Man Trap, Sulu said, May the great bird of the galaxy bless your planet.
May the great bird of the galaxy bless your planet.
After Yeoman J. Miss Rand brought him some food. In a codogram, which is a Starfleet computer display, briefly shows Roddenberry's face on the body of a parrot in a Starfleet uniform, which is what we're looking at right now. It's briefly shown in the Next Generation episode, The Naked Now, which we have a screenshot here of, and The Conspiracy. And again, we have it right there. Actually, looking at the displays as it was going through, it was the same exact displays is being recycled. Well, for both episodes. The codogram was based on a full-color painting Andrew Probert made as a gift for Roddenberry's 66th birthday. Effectively, the team working on Star Trek turned their boss into a galactic mascot. Roddenberry's legacy extends far beyond in Star Trek, creating other shows like Earth, Final Conflict, and Andromeda, which wouldn't be made until after his death. The Star Trek franchise grew into cultural phenomena, uh, spawning multiple series, films, and a passionate fan base. His commitment into diversity and optimism inspired generations of storytellers and viewers, like Seth MacFarlane, and with his comedy homage, The Orville. Roddenberry's contribution to television earned him a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. He met at 66691 Hollywood Boulevard. Even after his death in 1991, his presence reached the stars, literally. In 1992, a portion of Gene Roddenberry's ashes was flown into orbit aboard the Space Shuttle Columbia. In 1997, approximately 7 grams of his ashes were placed in an orbit in the spacecraft Celestis. But the vehicle's orbit eventually decayed, and it burned up upon re-entering the atmosphere. Another launch carrying Roddenberry's remains, along with those of his wife, Majel Barrett, James Doohan, and other Roddenberry relations, was rescheduled in 2009 and was finally launched in January 2024. And so we saw how the original series and the next generation honored Gene Roddenberry. So how did how does New Trek honor the late great Gene Roddenberry?
Unless Hazmat over here is going to be helping after he cleans up aisle 5.
My name's Gene, actually.
I've already forgotten that.
Yeah, fuck New Trek. It's crap like that reason why I absolutely despise Star Trek Discovery and everything that's come after it. And that's just one example. But at any rate, I do have a little article I came across. Also, while I was putting this together. So it's a little bit of a rant that part. What is Starfleet? Modern Star Trek is still trying to work that out, but Strange New Worlds' latest episode might have the answer. We already had the answer. So thank you for answering something that was already answered. What is Star Trek? Asks the latest episode of Strange New Worlds. It's a question the Star Trek franchise has been getting into grip with this for the best part of 60 years. No, it isn't. The answer was simple back in the Next Generation era. Yeah, we had an answer, see? Because Jean-Luc Picard was never in it for the money. Instead, he had noble ideas such as exploration, self-improvement, and general betterment of humanity. He tended to be more important than a steady paycheck. These values were generally shared by his employers at Starfleet in the United Federation of Planets. Organizations idealized as the polar opposite of Emperor Palpatine's authoritarian dictatorship from a galaxy far, far away. Oh, that's very nice that they contrasted that. And yes, it was supposed to be idealized. As close to a utopian as could possibly get. But Star Trek creator Gene Roddenberry's utopian vision of the 24th century later came to feel like an anachronism. No, it didn't. Especially when the likes of Breaking Bad, Game of Thrones, and Andor had turned moral ambiguity into the norm in TV drama. No, we need hopeful optimism in our entertainment. And one thing this article overlooks is the Orville, which proves that we can still do it, and still do it well. And in times like these, when we have so much hardship going on in the world, we need hopeful entertainment. In what is Star Trek? Aspiring documentary maker Beto Ortega even asks the question outright. What separates the Federation from an empire? Well, you have representatives of each group within the Federation, and all representing a whole. So if you can't fucking understand that, get out of the fucking um, um, show. Uh, the episode may just be the writer's room's effort to work it out for themselves. Yeah, or you could just go watch Next Generation and take note that it's about noble ideals of exploration and self improvement and the general betterment of humanity. There, you've got your answer. The United Federation of Planets and its quasi-military spacefaring branch, Starfleet, it were first mentioned in the original series as with so many elements of canon and veteran sci-fi franchises. However, Star Wars and Doctor Who neither arrived fully formed. In fact, Trek didn't properly get around to explaining the Federation's origins until Star Trek Enterprise's fourth season in some 4 decades. Wait a second. All right. Decades later. No more there. But by the time the USS Enterprise D began in its ongoing mission in the next generation, the Federation's reason in the detour was clear. This was an enlisted private membership club with strict conditions for entry. Yeah, like you know, getting your shit together on your own planet. So you're not warring against each other or being spacefaring, things like that. With mastery of warp flight and the eradication of prejudice and war among the possibly high bars applicants had to jump over. I would say those were probably fairly reasonable bars to jump over if you're entering into a group whose goals are exploration, self-improvement, and the general betterment of humanity. They also had to adhere to the so-called Prime Directive, also known as General Order 1, a non-interference policy prohibiting any action that might alter the evolution of other species. This is primarily for non-spacefaring species, and there's a pretty damn good reason for having it, seeing as they had seriously fucked up in the past without it. Oh, by the way, the Orville actually he has something very similar to this, and he demonstrated he did how they basically wiped out an entire species accidentally by advancing their technology too quickly. These official guidelines form the cornerstone of much of the TNG era. Picard and the crew frequently found themselves caught in moral quandrum about upholding the Prime Directive if they had replicated it so much of the Federation Kool-Aid and that they usually obey the rules without question. Oh, come on. These similarly idealists, Captain Janeway, even sent in her USS Voyager crew who did decades of drift on the other side of the galaxy. Oh, Jesus. You can almost see how much they despise what Strike actually stands for with this article, can't you? Unfortunately, he was good for 24th century society. He isn't always good for drama. That's what the aliens are for. Numerous writers from the TNG era have since expressed this frustration over rules that, thanks to Roddenberry, is long-standing decree that future humans had evolved beyond petty squabbles, made internal conflicts with Starfleet a big no-no, and they should have stuck with that. That's what the aliens are for. Nonetheless, they gradually came up with ways to work with it. It's good to have rules to have to work around when you're writing, by the way. Rather than against these utopian constraints, much as Leon M. Banks did so memorably in his cultural novels, Omnipotent and Super B, in Q introduced the Enterprise to the Borg in order to shake Picard and his team out of their we're ready for anything complacency. The Voyager, meanwhile, forced the crew to integrate a shipmates from the Maquis, a paramilitary group outlawed by the Federation. Well, they're basically terrorists. But while the show was rarely delivered on the threat of full-on disputes, there was at least an attempt to shake things up. Yeah, you have to actually be, creative with your storytelling. It's kind of a novel concept apparently in writers' rooms nowadays. The idea that the Federation and Starfleet you can't always be trusted started to appear in the late 1990s, late 90s with the likes of Babylon 5 and the X-Files, ramping up the moral flexibility in conspiracy theory and sci-fi TV. Deep Space Nine followed suit. It, however, made it clear that the virus engineered to eliminate the changelings was the work of Section 31, a covert, any means necessary organization that's historically worked outside the usual Federation jurisdiction, and has since been thoroughly discredited by a very mediocre TV movie. Yeah, even and they had a hard time making that. They had to make that suck, huh? Then in 1990, Star Trek Insurrection, and the Federation Council used the ongoing Dominion War as an excuse to justify the forceful relocation of the peaceful Baku in order to seize control of the planet and its rejuvenating properties. It wasn't a very good movie, by the way, but I still would count it as Trek. Picard, of course, had no option but to go rogue to stop them. And he was completely in the right. And it wasn't necessarily all of the Federation Council. It was really more of a rogue council member, by the way. Since returning from its post-Enterprise hiatus, the franchise has seemingly lost faith in the idea that Starfleet and the Federation are unquestionably forces for good. Big mistake. This may have been a response to the darker, grimmer Battlestar Galactica reboot. Itself, the creation of former Star Trek writer Ronald D. Moore. But these days, those ideals about exploration and becoming better people are nice to have rather than a necessity. The big screen, Kelvin and Kelvin timeline in Star Trek Into Darkness, saw Admiral Alexander Marcus is using continuity and sons as a black ops agent in a significantly beefed up military before returning the souped up U.S. civilian engines on the Enterprise. And when in Discovery he brought Trek back TV to TV after 12 years away. No, it didn't. It just shit on Star Trek. It can call itself Star Trek. A Starship Bridge was no longer a place of harmony, as the crew was led into a painful war with the Klingons with a renegade captain at the helm. It was brought into war by the bestest ever Michael Burnham, who should never have existed in the lore to begin with. In Picard, even the great Jean-Luc himself was forced to live in a less than ideal world. Yeah, they kept fucking up Star Trek. Where the Federation was still reeling from the uprising. Just wondering, synthetic life form years earlier. Yeah, they tried to turn data into a slave race. When the USS Discovery relocated to the distant future of the 32nd century, the Federation barely existed at all. Let's see if they get down to the part where they actually address anything here. Nonetheless, what is Starfleet suggests Star Trek hasn't entirely lost faith in the most famous institutions, although Christopher Pike's redacted conversations with his superior hint at some major disagreement in so of the management of stellar kaiju. The Jikaru, the captain's inherent indecency, he shines through when he does the right thing by allowing the tortured creature to fly into a star. What is Star Trek? Asked Uhura. It's the people, all of us. We make Starfleet what it is, not the other way around. Well, I guess that's correct. Okay, I'll give him a golf clap for at least getting one line correct. It's an acknowledgement that while the belief that humanity will have fixed all of its problems, most of its problems at least, in the space of a few centuries is utter nonsense. Star Trek's unwavering optimism about the future has always been in what sets it apart from other sci-fi franchises. That's why having it become darker and leaning into that with things like Discovery, the Section 31 movie, and so forth, fucks it all up. Big organizations will always have their flaws, but if we have good people inside them, and the universe may not be quite as bleak as some stories like to make out. Well, at least they ended up on a positive note with this article. I'll give them that much. Speaking of hopeful entertainment, and I have a project that I'd like to discuss with you. Should I DM in the D for you? Send yeah. You can send me. You can send it to me through DMs either on Blue Sky or Twitter. Probably Twitter. I tend to be on there more messing around with Grok, so you can send it to me on Twitter. Would be most likely where I'd see it. Yeah, right. So, happy birthday, Gene Roddenberry. I wish your legacy was in a better state at the moment. I guess I'll get into a little off the top of my head fanfic I had worked on long ago. I mean, this is probably around the time where Star Trek Enterprises was just starting to end. The idea I had for a new well, the idea I had for a let's count one. Well, anyway, the idea I had for a show was taking place sometime in the early 25th century. And it had built a transwarp drive. They had looked at the technology from the slipstream drive brought back by Voyager. They had all the diagrams and schematics for that. They just couldn't get it to work properly without crashing into something. They also had at least some knowledge of a working Borg transwarp drive, and of course they had 7 of line, and that would help them out. On top of that, they had the gravimetric folding from the episode The Nth Degree, which allowed the Enterprise D to travel to the center of the galaxy. So I imagine, which again, they probably wouldn't have been able to utilize these scenes that required Barclay to have super genius intelligence to make work. And would have probably taken them decades. They even said in that episode, the stuff that they got back from the aliens would have taken decades to work out. Well, here we are decades later in my story. So they basically looked at all this technology they got for the transwarp drive and combined it all into one working system. And we have a new crew, a new ship, a new drive system that takes us pretty much anywhere we want to go in the galaxy. The basis of it would have been in deep space exploration on the outer rim of the Federation space and beyond. In its first flight, in attempts to test the new transwarp drive, they miscalculate and they overshot their destination by quite a number of light years, finding themselves in the middle of a war between two factions. The Federation ship having to get their transwarp drive back online and not get shot down in the process. This mediates a peace agreement between the two factions, who were sort of an analogy to Hatfields and McCoys. Neither of which really remember the reason why they're fighting. They just know that they hate the other side. And it becomes sort of an allegory for dealing with long-term prejudices. Eventually, the ship gets its drive back up and running just in the nick of time as the two factions begin fighting again amongst themselves, and they get home to embark on another journey. That was just at least the general layout of the pilot I had in mind for my own little fanfic. Little Tullamore Dew, honey. See what we have on the wheel. I might end this a little bit earlier than I usually do, seeing as I believe Theta is doing his thing a little early, but nothing so we wrap things up here. Oh, the merry-go-round broke down, and we went round and round. Each time we'd miss, we'd steal a kiss, and the merry-go-round went ba ba ba, 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 ba. Oh, the merry-go-round broke down. It made the darndest sound. The lights went low and we went oh, and the merry-go-round went ba, 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 ba. Oh, what fun! A wonderful time. Finding love for only a dime. Oh, the merry-go-round broke down, but you don't see me frown. Things turned out fine, now she's mine, 'cause the merry-go-round went ba 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 ba. Oh, the merry-go-round broke down. Let's see what else we got in the wheel. One more song before we get to this. Give my regards to Broadway. Alright, that sounds a good one. Let's see here. If I can find it. Here it is. Did you ever see two Yankees part upon a foreign shore when the good ship's just about to start for old New York once more? With tear-dimmed eyes, they say goodbye. They're friends without a doubt. When the man on the pier shouts, "Let them clear!" as the ship strikes out. Give my regards to Broadway. Remember me to Herald Square. Tell all the gang. Excuse me. Tell all the gang at 42nd Street that I will soon be there. Whisper of how I'm yearning to mingle with the old time throng. Give my regards to Broadway and say that I'll be there ere long. Say hello to dear old Coney Island, if there you chance to be. When you're at the Wardrough, have a smile and touch it up to me. Mention my name every place you go, as around the town you roam. We should call on my gal. Now remember, old pal, when you get back home, give my regards to Broadway. Remember me to Herald Square. Tell all the gang at 42nd Street that I will soon be there. Whisper of how I'm yearning to mingle with the old time throng. Give my regards to Broadway and say that I'll be there ere long. Alright. And now, let's get on to a little bit of radio broadcast with the Martian Chronicles. And we can see the bit of a contrast here with how sci-fi storytelling was before Star Trek came along.
Adventures in time and space, told in future tense. Dimension X.
Tonight, Dimension X presents The Martian Chronicles, a dramatization of the new novel by one of our most brilliant young science fiction writers, Ray Bradbury, The Martian Chronicles. January in the year 1999. 1 minute it was Ohio winter with doors closed, the panes blind with frost, icicles fringing every roof, children skiing on snowy slopes. And then a long wave of warmth crossed the small town, a flooding sea of hot air.
Bye, Mom. I'm going out. McClellan, you come back here. You know you can't go out in winter without a coat. You want to catch your death of cold?
But it isn't cold. It's warm outside. It's rocket summer.
Rocket summer?
You know, like Indian summer.
The rocket lay on the launching field, blowing out pink clouds of fire and heat, cracking the icicles, melting the snow, making summer with every breath of its mighty exhaust. It seared the faces of the watching crowd and drove them back. And then they saw the red fire and heard the big sound as the silver rocket shot up toward Mars and left them behind on an ordinary Monday morning on the ordinary planet Earth. They lived in a house of crystal pillars on the planet Mars by the edge of an empty sea. And every morning you could see Ela eating the golden fruits that grew from the crystal walls, or her husband sitting alone in his room reading from a singing metal book over which he brushed his hand as one might play a harp. Ela and her husband were not old. Once they had liked painting pictures with chemical fire, swimming in the canals when the wine trees filled them with green liquors, and talking into the dawn together. But no more. Marriage sometimes makes people old and familiar while still young, and Ela was not happy now. This morning she sat dreaming between the crystal pillars and wished that somehow a miracle might happen. And then suddenly...
Ela, did you call?
No.
I thought I heard you cry out.
Did I? I was almost asleep and had a dream.
In the daytime? You don't often do that.
Strange. How very strange. I dreamed about a man. A tall man. 6 feet tall.
Oh.
He was dressed in a strange uniform. And he came down out of the sky in a long silver craft.
Out of the sky? What nonsense.
He spoke pleasantly to me in another language. But somehow I understood him with my mind. Telepathy, I suppose.
Now, really, Ela.
And he said, I've come from the 3rd planet in my ship. My name is Nathaniel York.
Stupid name. Who ever heard of a name like that?
Perhaps they have names like that on Earth.
That's ridiculous, Ela. Everyone knows the 3rd planet is incapable of supporting life. There's too much oxygen in their atmosphere.
I suppose. But haven't you ever wondered if... Well, wouldn't it be fascinating if there were people there, and they traveled through space in some sort of ship?
Really, Ela. You know I hate this emotional wailing. Now, let's get on with our work.
Evening came. The twin white moons of Mars were rising, and the house closed itself in like a giant flower. A wind blew among the pillars, stirring Ela's russet hair, crooning softly in her ear. And it was then that she began singing the song.
Drink to me only thine eyes, and I will pledge with mine.
Ela, what's that song?
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know? I've never heard it before. Did you compose it?
No. Yes. No, I don't know, really. I don't even know what the words are. They're in another language. It was part of the dream I had, I guess.
Oh. You know, you haven't been yourself lately. It might do you good if we went away to the Blue Mountains for a week or so.
What?
Did you hear what I said?
I'm sorry. I was watching the sky.
You're certainly interested in the sky tonight.
Very beautiful.
Well, what about my suggestion? Shall we leave for the Blue Mountains in the morning?
You mean go away now? Oh, no.
No? Why not? Why don't you want to go?
I don't know. I just don't want to, that's all. Leave the case in the cup, and I'll not ask for...
Ela, I'm sick of that silly song. It's late. Let us sleep.
From the crystal walls poured a soft carpeting of mist, to support Ela where she lay down to sleep. But through the night she tossed restlessly until just at dawn the dream recurred.
Ela, wake up.
What? Oh, what is it?
You've been dreaming again. You talked in your sleep.
Did I?
Yes. What were you dreaming?
Oh, a ship. It came from the sky again. And the tall man stepped out and talked with me. Telling me little jokes and laughing.
What else happened?
And then this Captain York... Oh, I can't. It's all so silly.
Tell me.
He said I was beautiful. And then he kissed me.
I thought so. What else?
Why, Eel, you're so bad-tempered. It's only a dream.
Is it? You know I can read your mind. You can't keep secrets from me.
Well, all that happened was that Captain York told me... Well, he told me he'd take me away in his ship into the sky. Take me back to his planet with him. It's quite ridiculous, really.
Ridiculous, is it? You should have heard yourself. Falling on him, talking to him, singing with him all night. In your dream, he landed in Green Valley, didn't he?
Please.
And he told you he was coming today.
Yes. But what's come over you? It's only a dream. You can't be jealous of that.
No, I suppose not. Forgive me. I'm being childish.
Eel, you're sick. You've been working too hard.
No, I'm all right. But perhaps you're right. Maybe I could use a little relaxation.
Yes.
I think I'll take the morning off and go hunting.
Hunting?
Yes, in Green Valley.
Numbly, she watched him go to a closet and draw forth an evil-looking weapon. And then her husband was gone, walking toward Green Valley. And Ela waited, watching the sky for an unknown thing, trembling with a nameless fear. And then it happened. A whirring, rushing sound. The warmth as of a giant fire passing in the air. The gleam of metal in the sky.
He's come. It's true. The dream is true.
The rocket vanished over the hill. The sky was empty again. And trembling, Ela waited again, looking toward Green Valley and seeing nothing. Listening for sounds and hearing nothing. Until... a shot sounded, very sharply. The sound of the evil weapon.
Oh, no. No.
Her body jerked with the sound, and she wanted to scream and never stop screaming. For now she knew the dream could never come true. There was nothing left but the song, the strange and fine and beautiful song.
Drink to me only with thine eye, and I will pledge with mine. Or leave a kiss within the cup.
But still the rockets came. The next ship came down from the stars and the black velocities and the silent gulfs of space and landed by night near a Martian city. The men made their way to the outer rim of the dreaming city, and then Jeff Spender went in to reconnoiter while the others watched and waited for something to stir in the haunted city, some gray form to rise, some voice to break the unearthly stillness. Where were the people? Where were the Martians? Nothing stirred to disturb the silence until...
Halt! Who goes there?
Don't shoot!
Hold it, Parker. Let's Fender and his party. They're coming back.
Captain Wilder!
Over here. Well?
Captain, we've searched the city. People were living here last week.
People?
Martians.
Where are they now?
Dead.
Dead? What did they die of?
You won't believe it, Captain. Chickenpox.
Good Lord, no.
Yes. No resistance to an Earth disease, I guess.
So the other rocket did get through to Mars.
It looks like it, Captain. God only knows what the Martians did to them. But at least we know what they did to the Martians.
You mean they're all dead?
Yes. This planet is through.
Hey, you hear that, guys?
We're safe. Break out a bottle, Cookie. Let's have a drink to celebrate.
Stop it, Parkhill. Put down that bottle.
What's eating you, Spender? The planet's ours now. We got to christen it, don't we? I christen thee the city of... I christen... Hey, Park Hill City, huh?
Park Hill, I warned you.
All right, Spender, that's enough.
That'll cost you a $50 fine. Cookie, McClure, take care of Parkhill. Spender, you come with me. All right, Spender, why did you hit him?
I don't know, Captain. I was ashamed, I guess. Ashamed of Sam Parkhill and the noise and the spectacle the whole crew is making.
It's been a long trip. It's only natural they'd want to have their fling.
Yes, but where's their sense of what's right? Their respect for what's happened here? Captain, a race builds itself for 1,000,000 years, refines itself, builds cities like this one, does everything it can to give itself respect and beauty, and then it dies. Of what? Not anything fine or majestic or fitting, but a dirty little thing like chicken pox. And Sam Parkhill wants to celebrate.
I know, Spender, but you've got to remember you've a different way of seeing things.
I'm seeing things all right. I'm seeing what we'll do to Mars. We'll rip it up, rip the skin off, ruin it the way we've ruined our own planet. Captain, look at the city. It may be the last time you'll ever see it this way.
Beautiful in the moonlight, isn't it?
Yes. There's a poem by Byron that describes it, and how the Martians would feel tonight, if there were any of them left to feel. So we'll go no more a-roving so late into the night. Though the heart be still as loving and the moon be still as bright. For the sword outwears its sheath, and the soul wears out the breast. And the heart must pause to breathe, and love itself must rest. Though the night was made for loving and the day returns too soon, yet we'll go no more a-roving by the light of the moon.
Without a word, the Earthmen stood and looked at the city. The bottle lay shattered at Sam Parkhill's feet, and the sour stench of liquor filled the cool air. The men of Earth had come to Mars. The men of Earth came to Mars. They came because they were afraid or unafraid, because they were happy or unhappy, because they felt like pilgrims or did not feel like pilgrims. The government posters screamed, "There's work for you in the sky. See Mars!" And the men shuffled forward, all kinds of men, all coming for different reasons. The rockets came like drums beating in the night. They came like locusts, swarming and settling in blooms of rosy smoke. Mars was a distant shore, and the settlers spread upon it in waves. First the pioneers and builders, then the people of civilization. Some came because they were afraid of a coming war on Earth. Some came because they were afraid of nothing. Some came to escape from the smell of the subways and the cabbage tenements. And some came from houses like the one in Ohio. It was a good house, the house in Ohio. And for 6 years, the family had lived there contentedly, enjoying music and poetry and the rich, warm things of life. For the house had been built to be lived in the year 2020. It contained all the latest automatic devices, from talking book recorders to singing clocks.
7 o'clock, time to rise, open your eyes. Tick-tock, 7 o'clock, time to rise, open your eyes.
As the family rose and dressed, the beds whirred electronically and made themselves. In the kitchen, the stove sighed, and ejected from its warm interior 8 eggs, sunny side up, 12 bacon slices, 2 coffees, and 2 glasses of milk.
7-9, breakfast time. Come and dine. 7-9.
Beside the breakfast table, the facsimile machine clacked and deposited the morning paper on the table. The headlines today spoke ominously of the danger of a coming war, and the man frowned as he read the news.
Today is August 4th, 2026. Insurance, gas, and atom heat bills are due. And today, remember, the family has planned a picnic.
Gee, Dad, are we really going?
Sure, Timmy, why not?
It's raining out.
It's not raining where we're going, son. Now run upstairs, pack your fishing tackle. We're going on our picnic, all right.
Okay, Dad.
Bill, are you sure we ought to go?
Yes. Have you seen the headlines this morning?
Looks bad, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. The rocket's ready. All we have to do is pack and take off.
I know, but... Well, flying to Mars, it seems so crazy. Well, all right, then we'll go. Should we tell the children why we're going?
No, not yet. Let them enjoy the picnic.
The house went on with its appointed task.
9:15, time to clean. 9:15, time to clean.
Out of the molding darted hundreds of tiny mechanical mice, all rubber and metal. They sucked up the dust and dirt in the house and popped back into their burrows. In the walls, relays clicked, memory tapes glided under electric eyes, recorded voices moved under steel needles.
12 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 6 o'clock, tick-tock, 8 o'clock.
Evening came. In the living room, the hearth fire bloomed out of nothing, and the phonograph spoke from beside the fireplace.
Mrs. McClellan, what poem would you like to hear this evening? Mr. McClellan? Since you express no preference, I shall select at random from among your favorites. Sarah Teasdale, There Will Come Soft Rains.
There will come soft rains and the smell of the ground, and swallows circling with their shimmering sound, and frogs in the pools singing at night, and wild plum trees in tremulous white. Robins will wear their feathery fire, whistling their whims on a low fence wire, and not one will know of war, not one will care at last when it is done. Not one would mind, neither bird nor tree, if mankind perished utterly. And spring herself, when she woke at dawn, would scarcely know that we were gone.
The phonograph finished the poem, but there was no one there to hear, for the family had gone to Mars. On the Martian desert beside the highway, there rose a blare of red and yellow neon lights that spelled the death of Jeff Spender's dream. Sam's hot dog stand is what the sign read, and Sam, of course, was the same Sam Parker who had fought with Spender years before. 10,000 rockets were reported leaving soon for Mars, with 100,000 hungry customers, and Sam wanted to be ready for them.
Hey, look up there, Emma. See that green star up there? That's Earth. Good old wonderful. Makes you feel almost reverent, don't it?
Yeah.
Send me you're hungry and you're starved. Something. That's a poem I learned in school. Come on, Earth, send me your rocket. Here's Sam Parker with the only hot dog stand on Mars.
Sam, what if the rockets don't come? What if there's a war on there?
Don't worry, they're coming all right. Ain't nothing gonna happen to spoil my plans, baby. I figured it all out.
Sam! Hey, Sam, look up there. Earth!
Oh, what? Oh, no.
It's catching fire. It's burning.
Oh, no, that can't be Earth. Hell, but they can't do this to me. I got all our money invested in this place.
Go ahead, Sam. Switch on more lights. Turn up the music. Get the hot dogs on the fire. There'll be another batch of customers coming along in about 100 million years.
Oh, no, it couldn't be.
What a swell spot for a hot dog stand. Let you in on a little secret, Sam. This looks like it's going to be an off-season.
The light beam radio crackled with the news. By morning, the shelves of the luggage store were empty, and the rockets were blasting off, headed back to Earth. In a few days, everyone was gone, and the planet of Mars once more lay deserted and silent. And then, after all the rest had gone, one last rocket landed on Mars. A small, family-sized rocket come all the way from Earth. It seemed a long way to go for a picnic, but Dad had suggested a fishing trip, and Mother thought the whole family would enjoy a vacation. So here they were, floating down a Martian canal, with Timothy sitting in the back of the boat with Dad and Mother up front holding Alice the baby, and the deserted Martian towns drifting slowly by.
Dad,
What is it, Timmy?
when do we see the Martians? You promised we would.
Soon, Tim, soon.
Oh, but William, the last Martians died out years ago. They're a dead race now.
Not quite. Don't worry, son. I'll show you some real live Martians later on.
Gee, this is swell. I wish we didn't ever have to go home. How long can we stay?
1,000,000 years.
1,000,000 years?
Yes. It's time we told you, son. We're not going home. This is where we'll live from now on.
But what about the rocket? What about Ohio?
There's nothing there now but ruins. The last Earth radio just went off the air. That means the war is over and Earth is finished. We're going to blow up our rocket and start all over. See if we can't build a better world up here.
You mean Mars is going to be our home?
Yes. I hope you don't mind too much.
No, sir. But what about the Martians? When do we get to see them?
There they are, son. Look down at the water.
I don't see anything there.
Beside the boat. Look at the reflections in the water.
But that's us down there. Just you and me and Mom and the baby.
Yes, son. You see, we're the Martians now.
For a long, silent moment, Timmy stared down at the reflections of the family in the waters. And the Martian stared back up at him. Then he lifted his eyes to the deep ocean sky, trying once more to see Earth and the house he had always called home. But Earth was too far away, and the house was now only a heap of radioactive rubble. Only one wall remained standing, and within the wall a voice spoke again and again and again.
Not one would mind, neither bird nor tree, if mankind perished utterly, and spring herself, when she woke at dawn, would scarcely know that we were gone, 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 that we were gone.
2026. Today is October 5th, 2026.
You have just heard The Martian Chronicles, a dramatization of highlights from the new novel by Ray Bradbury. Your narrator was Norman Rose, and featured in the cast were Inga Adams, Roger DeKoven, and Donald Buca. Music by Albert Berman, engineer Bill Chambers. Dimension X is produced by Van Woodward and directed by Jack Cuny.
There we have it. The Martian Chronicles. Hope you enjoyed that. And while we're sitting here, you're listening to that, I had a little visitor here come in. So, of course, we gotta do that. Here. As you can see, belly rubs are a very serious matter. To end things up with just a little tumbler, huh? I hold your hand in mine, dear. I press it to my lips. I take a healthy bite from your dainty fingertips. My joy would be complete, dear, if you were only here. But still I keep your hand as a precious souvenir. The night you died, I cut it off. I really don't know why. For now each time I kiss it, I get blood stains on my tie. I'm sorry now I killed you, for our love was something fine. Until they come to get me, I shall hold your hand in mine. And I believe that finishes up tonight's show. So here is a link to Theta's his birthday show. He's celebrating his birthday there. You can go check that out. And I can say, live long and prosper. And may the great bird of the galaxy bless your planet.